Hi, and welcome to Jeremy's Tech Channel. And today we're going to talk about 3 things I love about Linux. I am in a honeymoon phase, if you will, with Linux. I've been using it for about a month full time. I love so many things about it. And that's wonderful and all. And I know after the honeymoon phase, there's going to be things that were just fun challenges before that might become frustrations. But for now, I just want to talk about these 3 things. And hopefully this will help translate some things for you that if you're interested in maybe making a shift or a change, some things to look forward to when you're looking at Linux. 1, configurability. It is great with open source software, with an open source operating system, your choice of how you want something to look aesthetically, how you want it to perform, how you want it to behave is just unbelievable. And if something's not working the way you want it to, you can open up an editor and make some changes. Some of these changes are small and some of them are great. For me to use DaVinci Resolve like I do, which I know is a proprietary software, I've been recording with the audio codec AAC. I have an iPhone. Sometimes I don't have a choice with that, which is one of the reasons why I love this. But I found a script that I was able to put in, set it up as a script, run that thing, and within 10 seconds of my video being complete, I just input that into the terminal and it outputs it in a proper format that DaVinci Resolve can use. It allows me to choose to use a proprietary software and use it the way I need to. I love that. I love that I can make the look of my desktop exactly the way that I want. This looks very different than Mac OS or Windows, but you can see some elements there in the workflow. Obviously, you've got your taskbar up in the top and you've got your dock down in the bottom. And, I used Mac for 12 years now. There are some things that I do like about the workflow, so I can take that in. I also, can add in some monitoring that I like to see, some visuals that are pleasing to me, and I love that. I know that scripts and automation are nothing new to Mac or Windows either. I know that, but it is handed to you on a plate quite easily, and people tend to take advantage of it in Linux. And so it was easy for me to figure that out and to make those things happen. Even something as configuring your taskbar and where you want things and having the choice to do so is so cool. I love it. It has really made me want to get to know this operating system even more. Number 2, you have choice. First off, you get to choose not to have ads in your start menu or use an Apple ID or Microsoft ID to access certain aspects of your system. But you have choice in software. I am recording on an open source application, OBS. Having that open source code available and people being able to tweak it and manage it and grow it and add to it has just made this software very strong. And that goes for a lot of successful open source software. But I also have a choice in the distribution I use, how package management is handled. Do I just want to compile every piece of software myself? Do I want a simple and straightforward software center or application manager? Do I just want to use a terminal and use a command to install the application that I'm looking to install? I have plenty of choice. Here on my desktop, I brought up some of those choices in software management. Here's a graphical user front end for Pac-Man or Yay. This is called Octopi, and I can access these packages, the AUR and the Arch repository, and find them there. But you know what? You know how many times I've used this? First time I checked it out because I wanted to see if that was something I wanted to use. But you know what? It was just so much easier for me to use the terminal. And I'm able to search for anything. And I know I just searched for a very general term. I just searched video, but I typed in yay video, and here we are. Looks like potentially hundreds of packages that I can do. And if I know exactly what I'm looking for, I can search for that too. If I know I want yay Kdenlive, I can do that just with the terminal. So I can use the graphical interface. I can use the terminal. I can use virt-manager, or I can use VirtualBox. I can use multiple things from my virtual machines. I love the choice. Now, I know in other operating systems like Windows or Mac, you have some choices as well. I understand that, but you really don't have choices on how you want to install those applications. Yes, you can go to their apps, the App Store, and use those. Yes, you can go to the website and download the executable and install it that way. But that's really the choices that you have. Yes, you can choose different proprietary softwares to use. Do you want to pay for Pro Tools, for example, or do you want to pay for Reaper? Do you want to pay for DaVinci Resolve, or do you want to pay for something else? And that's great as well. And you have the open source options as well. I'm not saying that choice isn't available in those operating systems, but it's as if Linux says, we really want to give you a choice. We really want you to choose how you use this. We're using it the way we want to use it. Now, you use it the way you want to use it. The approach from Microsoft or Mac OS is, here's how we think you should use it. And you know what? I understand when you've got new users or you got a lot of support that you have to provide for users. I understand those choices. I mean, those limited choices is what I mean from them. But it is very limiting. And I'm grateful for the choice that I have. And number 3, the educational factor that Linux provides. There's a lot that I'm learning about Linux. There's a lot that I'm growing because of Linux that I wouldn't have been exposed to with macOS or with Microsoft. Now, I'm not saying that I couldn't have explored learning to program something for Windows or for Mac. I understand that those are available, but because there are so many options that they give you in Linux, you almost naturally start to grow into trying to figure out how to make something your own, which means you're opening up a text editor, trying to figure out how to make something look or act the way you want it to. I love that. That's been so much fun. Honestly, I decided to learn how to use GIMP. Am I missing some things without having Photoshop? I don't know if I'm missing anything. I keep learning a lot about this. Yeah, that's my funky mug there, giving a thumbs up. I've been learning and using LibreOffice, typing out some of these scripts to give you guys good content. I'm able to open up when I have a document that's a Word document or an Excel document. I've done some testing with some files that I've needed to open, and it works just great. Now, I did have to get the fonts. I did have to make sure I had the ability to allow for LibreOffice to translate that, but it does an outstanding job. And the layout is simple, and I actually prefer the layout of this. Is it much different than Microsoft Excel? No. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I just love this. This is so much fun. And maybe 6 months down the road, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, maybe I won't find this as fun as I do right now. And I'm okay with that. The beauty is that I am able to configure things the way I like it. I am able to choose the way I want to work, and I am having a lot of fun. For those of you who are Linux curious or have just started, or maybe you have been using Linux for years and have lost your passion for it, maybe this video will help encourage you to dig in. Maybe it'll help you choose to grow in this Linux community. And that's another thing. This is a little bonus here, that there is a Linux community. Yes, the market share of users on a Linux desktop situation. I understand that in this conversation, I'm talking specifically with the desktop use of GNU Linux. I know that. And the server space, Linux dominates. I know that too. But for desktop Linux, it's 2% of total users that use Linux on their machines for their desktop. That's still a lot of people. That's still a lot of opportunity. That's still a lot of growth. And the more people like me who got tired of ads in their start menu, needing accounts to be able to access certain things, and I'm sure the more people realize they don't want ads in their start menu, the more people will start to be curious about what Linux has to offer. And I know it's not going to be for everyone, but I tell you what, it is definitely for me. Thanks for joining me today.